What up, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. On this show, we get into the inner workings of crowdfunding. How does it work behind the scenes for mega campaigns that are doing 6 and 7 figures when it comes to their launches? If you go back to the archives of this show, you will see more than 500 successful case studies of other entrepreneurs, creators, people that are just really kicking ass and taking names and impacting the world for the positive, and they're sharing with you exactly how they're doing that behind the scenes in terms of getting funding, driving traffic, even coming up with their idea, prototyping, turning their prototypes into finished products and brands that are growing. Really exciting. And in today's episode, this is really no holds barred. This is pulling back the curtain and sharing with you how this individual was able to raise over $566,000 from more than 400 backers for a new product that he had invented. Really cool when it comes to this. And I would say, for anyone out there who's really thinking about impacting the world for the positive and you want to bring a new project into the world, crowdfunding nowadays, it's like insane, just the level of success that I'm seeing recently. We're seeing more campaigns launched on Indiegogo, on Kickstarter, and also on other crowdfunding platforms. So this is really a great time to strike while the iron is hot. When it comes to today's episode, you're going to be taking away advice and tips on marketing, on growing traffic, on brand building, on how to actually develop trust and develop something from scratch. I think you're going to take a lot of good lessons here, specifically if you're a first-time creator, but even if this is not your first campaign, you can apply a lot of the tactics and takeaways from today's episode when it comes to your launch to make your next launch raise more, blow past your funding goal, and hopefully have a better outcome with your next launch. Before we get into this episode, one other quick thing I wanted to mention is that I have 2 resources that can help you get started out there. If you're looking to launch a new campaign, one of the things that I've always found frustrating since I got into the industry back in 2012 and since I launched the podcast in 2015 is just there's not a lot of good, high quality educational information. And a lot of times there's so much marketing jargon that's thrown around and a lot of high level stuff that doesn't work. And it can be really confusing, right, as well to, decide what strategy you should use going forward. And that's really why I created a free course for you to walk you step by step where I send you a bite-sized lesson throughout the next couple of weeks. You can take action, you can consume these actionable videos, and you can really apply this to your launch. So those are tools, tactics, strategies, techniques that you can use in order to raise more funding from the crowd. If you want to gain access to this free course, all you got to do is enter your name and email at the link I'm about to mention, and you'll start getting some lessons from me to help you speed up the process of getting something out there and raising funding from the crowd. Go to the link at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. That link is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. Enter your name and email there, and you'll start getting some lessons from me at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. In addition, I've been having so many creators come to me and say, Sal, I have a great idea I'm passionate about, but I struggle with procrastination. I struggle with taking action, man. And for whatever reason, I have these broad and big visions, but I'm just not able to get it done. I'm trying to get into that mode where I'm just executing, right? You want to get into monk mode. If you want to get into that kind of mode and you just need a little bit of a challenge to kind of spur you to go on a sprint that you're excited to go on, right? If you just want to learn a little bit more about that, I have a great new guide out there called the 67-Day Rule. If you set plans and you set goals, but for whatever reason, weeks or months or even years pass by and you're still stuck, you're frustrated about it, here's the truth. It's not about talent and it's not about luck. It's not even about discipline. There is a proven set of principles which you can follow to get into that mode of crushing through obstacles and executing. And if you want to break free from procrastination and self-doubt and take control of your time, energy, and future, go and grab a copy of my new book, The 67-Day Rule, Your Path to a Better Life, at crowdcrux.com/67. That link will be in the description at crowdcrux.com/67. All right, man, let's get into today's episode and discover how this individual, this entrepreneur, was able to raise over $566,000 with their most recent crowdfunding campaign. And it's coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today we're speaking with a creator that's been able to attract over 629,000 with a successful Indiegogo campaign. This is for Snowcap Biohackers Cold Plunge Made Convenient, and we are lucky enough to have the creator here today. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Salvador. Thanks for having us.
Definitely. Maybe we can get started where you can share a little bit more about you and also this brand which you've been working on.
Yeah, sure. So we're based out of Melbourne in Australia. The origin of our brand it comes from myself and one of my co-founders really unlocking what we see as significant power of cold water therapy in our own lives, and really struggling with the accessibility or lack of accessibility of cold water therapy for people in warm climates. So, just for reference, it's 26 degrees outside right now, and that's a mild sort of autumn fall day for us. So it's it's challenging. It's easy those middle 3 months of the year, but then for about sort of 4 to 5 months, really, the water's just hard to get cold. It's expensive. The chillers that are out there are really expensive, and basically we just thought there's got to be a better way. And we talked about with our engineer about could we incorporate the chilling technology into a lid to improve the portability, the aesthetic, and all around the access of cold water therapy. And and he's come on board and taken it to what it is today in terms of a design and an engineering piece.
And what got you just in the beginning into ice baths, out of curiosity, and sort of that ice bath therapy? What got you into that?
So it's so my co-founder, he's a serial entrepreneur, and he in another business was going through a tough time and grinding really hard in a difficult economic landscape for startups around sort of 18 months ago, and a fellow friend who's a sort of high-powered lawyer recommended it to him. He said, look, it's a game changer, and you're from a mental health and focus and an output productivity perspective for him, and he recommended it, and my mates had a lot of success. And similarly, I was I work in a job where, so my day job is I'm an intensive care doctor. So I deal with some pretty stressful scenarios, and still in the midst of some big specialist exams, and I was going through similar sort of some really tough times from a mental health perspective, but just full on, and not enough hours in the day. And he said, look, you give this a try. It focuses the brain and enables you to prioritize and take that moment to sort of be present. It forces you to be present, which we're all, everyone's striving to be. And I found it made a big difference, and got addicted. And then when I couldn't do it again because of the warm weather, I was paying like $20 a day for ice. Might be a bit more expensive down here. Like it's, so
that adds up real quick.
Yeah, like 25 kilograms of ice in it, sort of, $3 or $4 a bag down here, and getting my water from 23, 24 down to 12 degrees. It was, it just wasn't sustainable. I was buying ice makers, I was buying freezers, filling up whiskey ice blocks, frozen bottles of water.
Right. So it sounds like you definitely, experienced the benefits of, cold plunges or cold therapy. And then have you done a physical product before, or is this your first one?
No, this is my first venture into a startup world at all. I've always had a bit of an entrepreneurial itch, let's just say, of wanting to do something a little bit different from what I do on a day-to-day basis. So it was always sort of there, looking for something and an avenue into that. And this, what really started off as just a text message idea, could this be something? And it's really grown and snowballed into what it is today. And we're going from strength to strength and moving to the next phase of our business at the moment. But it's certainly my first everything is a new experience for me as we move forward.
How long were you working on the product since you had the idea? Was this like a couple of months, a couple of years? How long were you really creating this, new rethought way for thermoelectric ice
Yeah.
baths?
So we look. I sent a message to my mate who was in a board meeting at the time. I think I've got an idea. In November, or it might have been early December, not last year. So 2023, we'd formed a company in January and had patents by the end of January, early February, and we're working on our design. And initially, we were looking at refrigerant models, and there's advantages and disadvantages there. But our chief engineer said, talked about integrating this thermoelectric technology, and there's there's a lot of positives. It's lighter, quieter. It's not position sensitive, so you can flip it around. You can juggle 3 Snowcaps and put it back on. You don't have to worry about refrigerant gases like you do with a refrigerant system, where it's got to be left to settle. Right. And there's a lot more. That's why you see them in the boxes on the ground connected with hoses, because they're you can't move them and use them. It's like you got to, when you get your new freezer and fridge, you got to sort of put it down and let it settle for a couple of hours before. Whereas a Snowcap, you can lean it on the side of your tub, put it back up, turn it on, and it'll fire straight up, and there's no worries. And so there's some benefits there, and we've through our engineering team, manufacturers, been able to, through some sort of creative design work, and improve the efficiency to really close to refrigerant systems, or towards refrigerant systems. So we're not far behind from an efficiency perspective, and there's lots of other benefits that we see in the integration of the technology.
Very cool, very cool. And I think a lot of people, when they have these ideas, you guys, number one, you're taking action, which I love, but you also decide to unveil this on Indiegogo. What kind of led to that decision to use crowdfunding as a way to bring this to the world?
I'd be lying if I said there was a key sentinel moment where it was like a light bulb type thing, but I think I've always had a bit of an interest and thought it's really cool. You hear about these, stories of products that sort of from, zero to hero, with big launch days, and it's, the unexpected, the excitement of it is really, it's really cool. It's really unique and it's really special. And I guess we early looked at that, and we spoke with some companies about who work in this space, and really what and how it would look to move forward with a crowdfund, and how we were structured and how we could potentially be successful. So it wasn't we didn't just jump in without doing our due diligence. We were really wanted to make sure that this was a pathway forward for like a really early company, an early prototype. You want to make sure that you're making the right decision, because it's not a small one, and there's a lot at stake. So we really did our due diligence to make sure that we were in a position to succeed, as well as not just during the campaign, but following the campaign as well.
If you're worried about the fulfillment and shipping part of your Kickstarter campaign when it comes to getting out all those perks and rewards to your backers, rest assured I've put together a complete Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping checklist for you, and it's free. This is sponsored by the folks at Fulfillrite, and they thought that you should have this checklist as part of your arsenal going into a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to get instant access to this checklist, and it's free, you can go to fulfillrite.com/checklist. Again, that is fulfillrite.com/checklist, fulfillrite.com/checklist. Just go to that link and you can download it immediately. So walk me through, the day before you're going live, right? You've been working on this idea for a long time. You now have a campaign together. What was kind of going through your mind the day before you went live?
It was really exciting. Obviously, that goes without saying. We'd set ourselves up for success. We knew that we were in a position to have a successful launch day, but there's still that unknown, right? You don't know, are people going to follow through, and what you think in numbers that you think. So there was a lot of excitement, but there was also a lot of nervous energy as well. And we talk. I was just seeing if I can find this quote from my colleague about that we talked about the day before. I've just got to find it. It's on my phone. Yeah, here it is. So he messaged me, sorry, the night before. He says, talk to me, big man. Give me your thoughts, feelings, emotions. And I just wrote back fear. That was the first thing. And he said, emotion tick, thoughts and feelings. He said, I said, a lot of love for what we've achieved. Bit scared, but I know this is going to be big and we deserve it. Very few people get to change the game on anything during their lives. I make a difference in people's lives at work, but have never changed the game of anything. Tomorrow night that changes. This is legacy territory. And
wow.
And that was that.
That's a tweet right there.
Yeah. So we'll often joke about that, and that's not. I'm not joking about it. We'll reference it, and I'm not a big soppy guy. Like, I'm not trying to make us sound out like that we're curing world hunger or anything like that. But if we can, I genuinely feel that there's benefits there that we know about, and there's benefits that haven't. That's a relatively immature field of research which is evolving, and there's new benefits coming out and all the time, and it's making a difference in people's lives, and through our product we can improve accessibility to those benefits, then that's huge, because it's not just about helping one person. You potentially make a difference in someone's life on a day-to-day basis, without sounding like I'm not trying to blow around, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty unique. And like I said, I get to do some pretty cool things at work and make a difference, but it's on a smaller scale. It's on a focused individual patient scale, whereas this is potentially, potentially a much bigger community and a movement type change, which is a lot of fun.
And you are able to launch this out there and to have people check it out. What kind of happened the first day and the first couple of days when you were live, and the first week? What was that experience like?
Yeah, look, so the first day, like so my wife and I, my business partner, his wife, we got kids all babysitters and rented a hotel or an apartment with a nice view over the city in Melbourne, and went out for dinner beforehand, and really savoured for what had been a lot of hours and a lot of effort from all of us to get to where we were, and then that when we went live, when they first started, it was 1, then it was 2, then it was 3, and all of a sudden it was 10, 15, and it was really quick. And that going to bed that first night, just with the support that our community had showed us that we'd engaged with already, and as well as people that we hadn't engaged with already, it was a feeling like, such a special feeling, and to feel that it was gratifying. It was really gratifying to know that the work had been worth it. And then also the sense of responsibility. It's like, well, now the real work starts. We've got to get there and do what we know we can do, and get this product to market. And the stage we were at, and the price point of our product, and through our research, and we felt that there was a more consistent alignment with the target audience of Indiegogo than Kickstarter. Now, that's not obviously mutually exclusive, and there's obviously expensive products on higher valued products on Kickstarter as well. But we felt that they probably aligned a little bit better. And also we got access very early on to sort of a campaign manager and assistants. And we just really liked the vibe of the people we spoke to at Indiegogo. And we've talked about this. We talk about this a lot amongst the team, is that journey piece of what we're doing is the most important thing. And we base every decision of that journey, and maintaining that journey for us, but also for our backers. Right. And we come back to that because there's some stressful moments, and if we can recenter on that, focusing journey and having that as the pillar or backbone of our decision making, that's guided us really well. And we just got a really good feel, and they've been fantastic from the get-go. Now I'll be honest, we didn't really speak to anyone at Kickstarter, so I'm not sure if there could have been similar opportunities there. I don't know. But we felt really confident with the team that Indiegogo put around us and the assistance and the knowledge base that they had. And being first time campaign, first time we'd run a campaign, any of us, the fact that we had that guiding team to take what we built with Launch Boom and through the actual campaign and the lead up, and another sounding board and just reference tool of information was so important and so useful. And they continue to be really helpful and useful in Indiegogo On Demand. They're, Megan is our main contact there, and she's just been fantastic. It's just super responsive.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like number one, the target market fit when it comes to having more gadgets and gizmos and more of like a high-end kind of technology, and also the price point, and you love the team there, right?
Yeah.
So really appreciate you sharing that. What has been the most rewarding aspect of this? I mean, you've hit a major milestone. You guys are now, getting this out there. What's been the most rewarding aspect of running this?
So the business side of things, for me personally, it's been that learning experience and building something and starting from scratch and moving through those milestones of just founding a business to small amounts of funding to the crowdfund, and now what we're doing now in manufacturing. But if I could sort of put the most rewarding, that first 24 hours, it was no doubt there was the four of us that were there together. Had put in a lot of effort, and like I said, we deserved the outcome. We felt in terms of it was reward for effort. To be able to share that together was really special. And we had a lot of people watching the campaign, our manufacturers, people contacting us, congratulating us, and it was such a special. Such a special sort of 12, 24 hours.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome, man. Where can people go to learn more about your product, your brand, your campaign? Where can they go to learn more about these?
Yeah, so we're still on Indiegogo. So we're on Indiegogo On Demand, where our business product is Snowcap. So if you just type in Snowcap Indiegogo, they're actually working on the homepage carousel at the moment. So I'm just looking at it now. But then our website is www.clearwatericebaths.com. And we have our website there as well. And that's got more information about the product. And then our socials as well. I'm not sure if they can sort of be show notes up in the show notes, but we've got, we're on Instagram and Facebook, and we post pretty regular updates about the product and about where we're up to and what we're doing.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link those up in the show notes. Really appreciate it. And, my final question for you, and we can end on this note, you can either end with, you've already given a great quote, so maybe a book recommendation or a word of encouragement for other creators that are out there, or if you want to give a final tip about crowdfunding, any of those, and we can end on that note.
I don't want to pretend to be an inspirational sort of a guy. It's not my MO. So I think that the one thing that I wish we would have done better was we did such a good job of preparing, doing our pre-campaign and launch day and immediate aftermath. And I think that we probably, the data suggesting after that during the campaign, the numbers we were expecting to follow, we probably didn't follow that trajectory as well as we would have liked. And I think that some of that was through lack of preparation. We weren't as well prepared for the campaign side of things as we were for the pre-campaign. And I think that that's probably something that if we could go back, we would change. We would put more time into the campaign along with the pre-campaign as well. And I think that I like to think that would have been more we would have had more success. But we know that what we've achieved is something that less than 1% of campaigns achieve. So that's pretty cool in its own right. So we don't have a lot of regrets, but they're always wanting to learn and grow. And when we take our next product to market through Indiegogo or Kickstarter, whoever pays us the best deal, that's just the best deal. We'll learn from that and we'll come back stronger for sure.
Awesome. Matthew, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. And good luck with your next launch here. And thank you for as well bringing new therapy here to the world.
Thanks so much, Salvador. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. I hope you took away some nuggets of gold when it comes to marketing, crushing your goal, driving traffic, and really how to turn something that you're dreaming about and really turn that into something real, right? Where you're getting funding to move this project forward, where you're building a brand and starting the foundation of something that's going to continue years into the future. And you all get started with that kind of snowball effect. You use crowdfunding in order to build that crowd and to get people taking action to become a part of your community. So I hope you took away some good advice and lessons when it comes to that. One other thing I would say, if you're listening to shows like this or videos, watching videos online, or even, consuming content out there, and you're like, you know what, I'm still just spinning my wheels and I'm stuck and I'm trying to improve this business or this area of my life, and I just need a little bit of like a kick in the bottom, right? To kind of get started, to get off my butt and to break free from some of these things that have been holding me back, whether that's things in my life or procrastination or just struggling to stay focused. Go and grab a copy of my new book, The 67-Day Rule. This is a principle which I follow when it comes to new verticals that I'm launching in, new projects that I'm working on, whether that's a new podcast, a YouTube channel, a blog, right? A new product I'm coming out with. The 67-day rule I swear by, because it's really like a sprint that I go on where I execute over the course of those 67 days. And there's scientific research that shows that it takes around 66 to 67 days to really develop a new habit. And that habit, which we're cultivating with this book, is the habit of following through, of showing up, of doing more that's required, and really moving towards your goals and your dreams. Again, crowdcrux.com/67 will take you there, and you can download a copy of my new book, The 67-Day Rule, at crowdcrux.com/67. In addition, for those of you that are like, Sal, I don't need the motivation, right? I don't need the help when it comes to eliminating procrastination. What I need is like the hardcore, step-by-step, nitty-gritty, tactical advice, and also hand-holding and guidance that goes into a launch, so I can absolutely crush it with my crowdfunding campaign. And I feel like everything is so mysterious when it comes to this. Can you just show me how it is? And that's exactly why I make myself available via these individual one-on-one coaching calls, where you can actually go to the link I'm about to mention, and you can book an individual one-on-one, one-off coaching call with me. How exciting and cool is that? All you got to do is go to this link I'm about to mention, fill out the form, tell me more about your project, your goals, your aspirations, what you're trying to achieve here. Give me some backstory about your passion, how you've been working on this project, whether that's a physical product, a board game, a technology gadget, a comic book, a publishing project, a theater campaign, a film campaign, whatever it is. You could even be using other forms of crowdfunding like equity crowdfunding or real estate crowdfunding. You can learn more about that at the link crowdcrux.com/coaching. So I'm telling you, man, this is probably one of the best investments which you can make. And whether you're early on in the process or you're going live in the next couple of weeks, I think this is an incredible investment, because not only can I align you in the right direction and make sure you're building a strong foundation going into your campaign, but also tell you about things you might not have thought of. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, right? When it comes to a new process or a new journey you're on, and we can hold your hand every step of the way going into that launch. Just go to that link at crowdcrux.com/coaching, fill out that form, tell me more about you, and book your one-on-one coaching call with me ASAP at that link, crowdcrux.com/coaching. All right, dude, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned to my episode next week as well. We got a great one in the hopper that I'm excited for you to listen to. If you enjoyed this, give me a positive rating and review on iTunes. Leave a good comment on YouTube. Go subscribe to my channel. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.